that you think about it, how do you feel about it? You had some time to live with the mistake that you made. Not trying to say I'm perfect, no, no. Push comes to shove,